Hello, my name is Sharice Lucina, and I am the founder of Create Conscious Community. What Create Conscious Community does is we support and produce events that make spirituality more accessible, relatable, and safe to explore. And we do that by reminding people that spirituality is on a spectrum and can therefore be experienced in a range of ways, whether it be dancing in front of a 12-foot sound system to some dub music, and connecting with your expression, your culture, music, the community around you, or whether it's, taking a quiet space and doing some yoga to get back in touch with your body and areas of tension and your breath. So essentially, any experience that helps you connect with your mood, your energy, your intuition, your expression, your creativity, your culture, your family, etc. That is a spiritual experience. We wanted to bring this conversation and context to the area of permaculture and add some mindfulness there. So I have been curating a range of workshops um, under our Renegade Urban Growers project that has a few different series or workshop series that you can get involved with to help you learn about how to make medicines from plants, like in our Healing Herbalism series, or in a future series that we'll be putting together. And we will be learning how to make sort of spiritual tools like smudge sticks from foraged plants and that have sentimental and spiritual value to the land that we are in. So always trying to think ethically, sustainably, and locally with how we source our tools for healing ourselves in terms of using plants, but also what we connect with and where we find our spirituality in the spaces that we are in, rather than trying to sort of pick from different areas without really having a true understanding of the resonance. So this is something that has been uh, done over many, many years for centuries. A natural immune boosting tonic called Cider. I was taught this recipe by Mobile Apothecary, who have a phytology garden in Bethnal Green where they grow their own medicinal plants and turn those into medicines and give them out to the public for free. Um, this is a great space you can get involved with and have access to the garden 24/7 if you put into the space and help grow these wonderful things that our community could do with. And often a lot of people just don't have access to. So it's a really great initiative, and I'm really excited to share with you what I have been training and learning with them to make. So it starts with a fire cider. Sorry, excuse the handwriting. With a fire cider. This is a really, really easy immune boosting tonic that you can make with ingredients that you can find in your home. And incredibly helpful when you're navigating the winter periods or even navigating spring periods when there's sort of like hay fever and stuff like that, and sort of residual colds and bugs just being around. Basically, this will sort you out all year long. Um, it's really easy to start. The main things that you need are um, apple cider vinegar. Now, not just any apple cider vinegar, it has to be raw apple cider vinegar with the mother inside. So, it having the mother inside means it has the active ingredient that's going to help with the immune boosting agencies of the fire cider, and without it it still works, but this is definitely the kind of apple cider that you want to get, and you can get that at any store relatively cheap as well. And apple cider has so many other uses. There's so many ranges, so yeah, get yourself some of that and the rest of the ingredients. The other things that you would have in your kitchen that you might find naturally are just Typical everyday ingredients that we use that we don't necessarily realize have loads of benefits to them medicinally. For example, ginger and garlic. Ginger and garlic, onion. This is a shallot in fairness, but get an onion if you've got an onion, red onions, white onions, both great onions. Cloves, another great thing. Um, some of the effects of these things are antiviral, antibacterial. They soothe inflammation and reduce inflammation. And so these can just be really helpful for any of the symptoms that you sort of experience when you're having a cold or a fever or something like that. Can really just take down all of those inflamed areas and, yeah, add some support to your white blood cells, trying to fight all of these diseases. In terms of the actual specifics, as to what each individual thing like garlic, ginger, onion, clove can do for you. There's a few resources that I would recommend. One is a great plant herbalist and scientist, Rebecca Lazarou, who teaches you very specifically what all of these things do inside of the body, how you can use them moving forward in life to enhance your day-to-day functioning. um, and you'll quickly realize the abundance of plants and herbs and flowers and fungi that is around us that we could be just using to treat ourselves, if we were aware of how to turn them into medicine. So this is a great place to start. Gather all of those things that you have. You can even do this after cooking because you don't need like a fresh piece of ginger and to cut it specifically. A lot of the things you can use, just collect the scraps that you chop off when you're cooking. So say with your garlic, if you don't use all of it, you don't use all of your onion. You might not use, I have 3 chilies here. And chilies are good to include as well because that heat is something that can really help just stimulate the body when we're fighting a cold. So don't be afraid to put a few chilies inside. But things like chilies or garlics, cloves, a lot of them can end up as just byproducts from our main cooking session. So take those things because upcycling and using what we thought of as waste when actually it could just be a great time to turn that into a fire cider. So those are just ways that you can maximize on what you've got and using your resources. I've also got some chia seeds here, some nigella seeds, and lemon as well. In terms of storing the apple cider vinegar when you are putting it together, you want to use a jar. It can be glass or plastic, either is fine. The main thing is that the lid of the jar is plastic. You don't want any metal touching the apple cider vinegar because it rusts. So here we can see there's a sort of plastic layer that will cover the seal of the jar, and therefore, even though there's metal around it, it won't be touching the apple cider vinegar, and it can be stored in there safely for a few weeks. So it's very, very, very simple. Chop it all up, put it inside of the jar, and fill with apple cider vinegar. Now, you want to fill until all of the mass inside of the bottle is completely covered in apple cider vinegar. You don't want anything at the top poking out that doesn't have, that isn't covered by apple cider vinegar, essentially. And if you're doing it in, say, a bottle as small as this or a jar like this, you just want to give them like a shake or a wiggle every day, every couple of days, just to make sure that the liquid is really coating and spreading and sort of meshing with all of the ingredients inside. So I had actually done this workshop earlier in our Healing Herbalism event at Wolves Lane earlier this year, another great place in Wood Green Garden Centre to check out. And at the workshop, we were sat on a table just chopping up different all of these ingredients essentially, and sharing what we chopped up and filling up our little bottles and setting intentions with them, which you can also do if you would like to add a little bit more sentimental value and intentional value into this practice and into this service to yourself. And yeah, we are now at the second stage of the process where I get to open up this bottle and strain it. So I have a strainer here and a jar, also a jar with a little tip so I can pour again. You're welcome to use like a cheesecloth or something like that if you prefer, but generally this is what I've got right now. So it's all about being resourceful, eh? Now, taking off the lid, and I'm pouring it out, and already I can smell the apple cider vinegar, and actually it's the smell of it's mixing with all of the other, like the black pepper, the garlic, the chili, the ginger that was inside. I even put like full on bits of lemon and lime in there. So we've got the little liquid of fire cider in there. We're going to top it up with a bit more apple cider vinegar. It's almost just like diluting it at this point. Now, again, it's up to you. You can flavor this. It's something that you can very much cook with. So if you wanted to add some honey to make it sweeter and turn it into a dressing that you could use for a later date, go ahead and add some honey until it tastes like something you would like to put on your salad. Experiment, play, be curious, because pretty much once it's made, you've got the best part of it. So now it's time for transferring that into a bottle. And I will say it's worth mentioning, if you don't have a bottle or jar that is made out of plastic or has a plastic lid, then you can just add some parchment paper, like greaseproof paper or something, to the lid before you close the jar. And that way that will keep the apple cider vinegar from reacting with the metal and rusting. Loving the red color as well. Like, look at that, it's gorgeous. All you need to take every day to sort of keep your immune system boosted is a teaspoon or two teaspoons a day. You could either just drink them, just, pour onto the teaspoon and drink it like that. You can add it to a salad if you want to, jazz up your foods in a way that's kind of healthy for you as well and adds another element to what you're eating and what it's doing for you while you eat it. Or if you are actually experiencing some symptoms of a cold or a fever, you might want to take it about 2 to 3 times a day instead of just once a day. And I would personally add a few other immunity boosting things, like you can have echinacea tinctures, where you just drop a bit of an echinacea tincture into water and drink that every day as well, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, or take an echinacea tablet. These are just really good plants that are really good for your immune system and for fighting colds and flu. But those are just a couple of examples of things that I would personally use and do in any time that I feel a little bit off. I would start with my fire cider, have a few echinacea tincture droplets, maybe have a couple sips of my elderberry birch body oil, and literally within 2 days, I feel incredible. So, yeah, that is the practice that I have as my healing herbalism practice to you. I'm so happy that I've finally gotten to this stage where I have my apple cider vinegar fire cider. It's got this gorgeous red color, and that's obviously been influenced by a lot of the ingredients that I put in it, like the chilies, the seeds, the onion, the red onion in particular, the garlic, the ginger, the lemon. All of these colors are kind of coming together and giving me a really nice red look. So yeah, I'm looking forward to updating everybody on my journey to embracing more herbal remedies, and a more natural symbiotic relationship with the earth where I give in helping it to grow and its longevity and surviving. And it helps me by helping me heal and keeping my body and my vessel for traveling this universe in tip top shape. I really hope you enjoyed that demonstration tutorial. And yeah, come down in person to a Create Conscious community event, whether it be Healing Herbalism or another Tree to Treasure Trail, where we go and immerse ourselves in nature and learn about trees, their medicinal properties, and their bark, and their leaves, and their berries, etc. And yeah, put it all together. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.